it.
Oh my
Oh my God, we did it! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Settler's Path Grievances WildStar cast. So, we're having a good time already. We don't have our intro as we usually do because we have a substitute producer. And all we see out of this is forehead. And then earlier, we all had horns and everything. It was kind of deceiving. Yeah, it was like horns. So, that's all we could see in our screens. And other gratuitous things.
Hey, that's not.
Hey, I saw
nice.
that. So, we're here to shoot the stuff because we're going to keep it clean. With me, I have Mr. SoulGuardian. Of course, I'm Kannon. Everybody knows Kannon because everybody wants to know Kannon. You want to join the Dominion side and play with Kannon. And then, you see it takes 3 exiles to even compete with my awesomeness. That's how amazing it is.
It's all about balance. We have to balance you out.
You know who I am.
So you're kind of saying I'm kind of unbalanced too.
Well, yes, you are the Dominion, so it kind of goes part of the job. You have to be unbalanced, otherwise you wouldn't do a good job.
One thing I've been working on is my evil laugh, though.
Good job.
As I'm blowing up left and right.
I don't think so.
So, well, they're your people. They're your officers. Introduce them, sir.
Gladly. Well, by now everyone knows, Wonder Waffle, our excellent warlord, and of course our recruitment officer, Nionya.
Hello.
Woohoo!
Hi, Nionya.
Hi.
Steele's about to fall over his chair. And
Why?
Oh.
Why do you have to be hidden? That was hilarious.
Wow. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit of PvE and PvP today because, Stephen Frost, our favorite person, has released another interview. He likes doing interviews, I've noticed. So
he just likes hearing his voice.
Yeah, I do like hearing his voice. I love what he does in Dev Speak. The devs are listening.
They are.
Man,
they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
if I was a female, I'd be trying to get his number. That's just saying.
That you would, Kannon, but
yeah,
we already know that.
Kannon sitting outside his window.
It's turning into like Cannon's confessions right now.
It is that's kind of disturbing, isn't it? So he did an interview talking about basically about Endgame and what they're trying to fix and stuff like that. And one of the big things that they've always been concerned about is that when you hit max cap in a game, what do you do after that? I mean, Nionya, you've played a certain game hardcore for several more years than I have, to be honest.
Too many.
Yeah. What do you do for Endgame there?
You run the same instances over and over and over and over again. And then when you run those instances, you run the same raids over and over and over again. And you do about 10,567 dailies every day. That about sums it all up.
Yeah. Phil, you going to say something?
I was saying dailies. Dailies drive me crazy.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I want to get on and just have to I have this grocery list of the same quest to do for the first hour every time I get on. Come on. It's ridiculous. So I'm not a fan of dailies.
Yeah. Not to say that there's not going to be dailies, because I know there's going to be dailies in WildStar. But I'm hoping that with everything else, I won't have to do them every day. I'm hoping. I really am.
But, or just like a few of them. Some few quick little things, whatever. I just don't want to get bombarded because that's all they have. There'll be days I want to jump on and maybe I'll forget to even do them because of other things going on. That's kind of what I've always envisioned Endgame to be about. So
I don't mind dailies. I just don't want my endgame to revolve around dailies like it has in other games, where if you're not doing your dailies, you're going to fall behind. You're not going to get the currency or, the blue pieces you might need to be able to progress through a raid. That's what makes it really frustrating, because you don't want to do the same quests every single day. It's just boring.
Mind-numbing.
Yeah, you're doing it just to get reputation for a certain faction, so you can get that piece of gear that's only provided through that. It's like,
I want the purple
Really?
T-shirt so bad.
right? It'd just be like, oh my god. No, I think
That's
it's
pretty
ridiculous.
much what it is.
So the nice thing is what they're doing is when you hit max level, you're going to continue to get experience, but you're going to get elder currency and stuff like that, so you can continue to level up your character in your own personal fashion. And wow, what just apparently Steele's playing with interface. I look over at Twitch and everybody's just all of a sudden goes to Windows. But
No.
We're good.
so I like what they're doing. They're going to have tiers of stuff of abilities you can upgrade, stuff like that. So what is it? He says there's like 30 something abilities, and those tiers are at every level.
And
That's gonna be
unlocking
pretty cool.
amps and stuff like that. I mean, it has like a lot of motivation to keep you leveling even at 50, because you still have other things to, like your skills to get, your amps to get, different things to collect if you want to try to collect them all, which, most of us are kind of obsessive that way, and we'll try to get the complete set because you don't know exactly what kind of combination we'll want for it, but, we'll just have them there just in case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think is great because I want every single one. It's like Nionya's mounts. I gotta have every one.
Right?
Mounts, WildStar's going to be plushies for me. Mounts as well. I haven't heard much about companion pets yet. I heard through the grapevine, supposedly, I know I'm getting off track here, sorry, but
Oh, it's fine.
supposedly there's supposed to be a place in White Vale where a settler can put down a vending machine. I don't know why I say bot. A vending machine that you can buy a Chompacabra pet. Now, I don't know if somebody was pulling my leg because they know how much I love companion pets, or if this is really true. So if somebody knows, I would really appreciate a clarification of this, because me and a couple settlers have been to White Vale and have dropped these vending machines a few different places and have not found one yet. So I almost think it's not real, unless it has to be in this obscure area that you drop this, because I know you can drop them anywhere. So maybe there's one little hot spot, kind of like crafting, where you have to find the hot spot to open up a new recipe. Maybe that's what the vending machine thing is. I don't know, but any information would be greatly appreciated. I am Nionya with 2 A's at the end in game on Nexus. Hook me up with that Chompacabra pet. I'll make you a Rousdower for real.
How many? Just one, or you for everybody that sends you a
Just
tell
one.
about
Come
it?
on
Just
now,
one.
just one.
Okay. Darn it! I was gonna make like an anonymous character and be like, "Baby, you gotta go to this place." Oh, thank you. I got my fish for you.
Lifetime supply. What's up?
All right. So, one of the nice things is they are talking about rating. What you do at endgame is rating, but it's not the only thing you do at endgame. One thing that we were talking about this before the cast, and they're calling them it's a PvE event, but they're calling them PCP. So we were really worried about the drugs that apparently the entire game's just going to be doing is drugs. And well, so you're able to say it easier than I was, because it's hard to say. It doesn't roll off my tongue. You try that again.
Yeah,
PCPs.
it's pocket cap play spaces. It's interesting where it's a thing for the community to do at level 50, where they can kind of jump on it, but it's kind of driven by your faction. So in some places the Exiles will be doing it. In some other places Dominion will be doing it. And your gear will depend on who does it first. So you get higher bonuses if you finish first. If it's quicker, you kill it quicker than say the Dominion. So I think it's interesting to have that kind of challenge aspect to it. It gives you that. I have this kind of mental image of it where, you look at your map, or someone just starts shouting like, "It's spawned! Let's go! Let's go!" And everyone just drops what you're doing, runs over, and tries to kill it fast with the Dominion. Just to kind of like show them up. And I think that's the kind of camaraderie that you want in a server where people just jump together, form parties, get groups. We all know, boom, healer, bang, this group, whatever. And I think it'd be really fun to just do. It's kind of like Rift, where all of a sudden something will just spawn, a giant rift will show up, and just the whole town will empty, and everyone will just you think everyone was AFK. No, they just show up and they just are downing the bosses. I think that's going to be really fun.
The cool thing about that, too, is if you have a scientist in your group, can't you get everybody in a group and then summon them all to where you're at? So
Yeah, summon
potentially
party.
a larger guild like ours, we could just say, "Come on, guys," and everybody would be there fairly quickly to destroy the Dominion, obviously, and kill whatever needs to be killed.
Yep.
You've-
It's gonna happen.
You kind of worry me with this destroy the Dominion. This false sense of hope that you seem to throw out there. Just it's all right. You'll be showing up. But I'm really excited. You know, they're taking the area quests. You know, the area events is really what I mean. That you get when leveling up. They've taken a level 50 area. Now they've put this into it and actually made it really worthwhile, meaningful. And somebody's phone just went off. Fail.
Yeah, who did that?
Yeah.
It's not
fail.
me.
Didn't do it.
So I'm looking forward to trying that out. Next part comes kind of up to a little bit up to Waffle here, you know, into his area of expertise. You know, they was talking a little bit about war plots and everything. And one of the questions I had wondered about, was how long it's, you know, building your war plot, if it was like at the beginning of each match or not, or everything. So you want to talk a little bit about that, Mr. Waffle?
As far
If you
as
can.
I know, with what I've talked to with other people and what I've gotten from Carbine so far, is war plots are kind of like a set thing. And if we do like a guild war plot, we can set it up. And I'm hoping I'm still on the same topic that you were trying to convey to me.
Yes.
You set it up, and that's the way you set it. You can go back and change it, you know, between a match, like, oh, well, we tried this didn't work, so we're going to switch this out over here and, you know, put a laser on this end because it'll hit everything on that end or something like that. You know, you can have it preset, so you don't, like, at the beginning, you're not, like, rushing to figure out, all right, what are we going to do? And that one guy puts something in the worst place possible, and you just completely screwed up the entire match. So as far as I know, everything, you can preset it so that when you go in, all you got to think of is, all right, it's time to go in. We already know where our stuff is at. We're set here. Let's go. You know, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So you can keep your head in the game for the most part, and it's not a mad dash to kind of try and put things down all at once.
Nice thing I was reading here was that you get in 10 minutes before the match starts too, so you have actually time to change necessary if necessary, and time to come up with strategies.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Soul.
No, I was gonna say it's good to have that, but the more I've read about war plots, it was actually interesting to me to see you will need a general. I mean, you will need, you know, a warlord, someone that's going to actually stand there and not attack, because literally, you know, the stations you can put down, the mercs you can pull out. Right? Yeah, I know you'll pick somebody. I know, Waffle. But
you stand over there.
You know, but as the fight's going on, you can summon different cannons. You can summon. I mean, I was even reading. There's like flash traps that blind, bug bombs that disorient, status traps that snare, stasis cannons that telegraphs damage and chance to root. I mean, there's different healing bots that you can upgrade during the match. Different things you can place down, like even certain cannon like turrets you can put down just for a short amount of period, just in case someone, you know, flanks you and everyone dies, and you're like, oh, put these down, slow the enemy up, the rest of the guild can come running and join and, you know, defeat them. So it's one of those games where you really have to pay attention, because at any point the battlefield can physically change, and so you always have to be adapting, you always have to be flexible. So I think that is going to really put people in the moment, because you think, oh, it's all preset, we've seen this before, and then all of a sudden there's a minefield. Oh, there's a raid boss. Oh, there's all these, you know, mercs running around or something. So I think that's what's really going to be fun, and it's never going to be static. You know, it's never going to be, you know, stale at all. It's always going to be progressing. It's always changing, even in that individual match. So I think that's what's really going to excite people, because they're just not going to get bored. Because it's after you play, you know, war plots or dungeons or anything, no matter times that you play it, usually people are just like, nah, I've seen that before. I think here the combinations are going to change it up so people won't get bored, or at least take a while before they do.
Yeah. And I like the fact of that 10-minute buffer zone at the beginning, because that'll give me time to go through and inspect everybody and make sure they're all wearing the proper uniform of pink and black. Because if you're not, I'm going to blow you up.
Go ahead. Come to the Dominion side.
You.
No.
It'll be red and black. It'll be
the plugins for the War
Boring.
Plus. I know that architects can craft the plugins for them as well. Is there rare drop plugins for war plots from say dungeons or raids? I'm just curious if anybody would know.
I would not know that. I haven't seen anything about that, to be honest. It would be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's interconnected is with this game,
Yeah.
it seems like. So I think they've already thought that out, and there will be, something. I mean, if you go to a dungeon and you can get housing material, I'm pretty sure you're going to get war plot material or something.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's the heart of the dungeon, the more rare or higher tier that stuff is going to be for your war plot. And I think that is what's going to be interesting. You're going to have a guild that has to do every facet of the game and not just focus on war plots because they have to find all the material for those. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I haven't heard exactly what they're going to have, but I'm pretty sure they will.
The nice thing I was reading also, because Rail just brought up, which was going to be the next thing I said, was kind of their idea for pickup groups where the mercenaries. And you want to explain that some there, Waffle, and how that works? It's kind of a cool idea. I like it.
He did admit, I noticed in that part, he did admit that the war plots are designed for guilds. It's it's designed for us, and I'm happy. And I'm also happy that they've also left that little bit of area for those pickup group kind of guys to actually get in and do a war plot, because you have, like Rail said and like Frost said, you have to at least 10 people in your party. So you have to have the war party started. And then what's going to happen is the rest of the people are going to be the mercenaries. So people can queue up as mercenaries. So I'm wicked excited to see how this happens. And I'm kind of curious to see if they'll have kind of like almost a ringer system. So if somebody isn't able to be there, you can go pick your ringer real quick. That one guy that you can bring in that is going to do, get tons of kills, be able to keep people back. So that's pretty exciting. And I really hope they put something like that in, because I think a ringer system would be sweet.
That would be awesome. It'd be like, I want that guy.
Yeah, that guy's mine. Yeah.
The only thing I don't like, though, is the idea that if you have 10 or more mercenaries that come in out of your, from wherever, it's great. You fill out the entire war plot, but then it's like, okay, half of you don't have TeamSpeak. How's this going to go?
That will be a huge thorn in people's side, especially. It's for me. It's if you're personally, if I'm going to be in a group doing PvP, I personally don't like playing with people who aren't in TeamSpeak, because if I can't communicate with you right then and there, and I have to take my time to type it,
right,
I'm not going to do it.
It's over.
Yeah,
yes,
the game's over.
Sure.
We are going to lose.
Well, that's just like that's raiding.
Useless.
If you show up at the raid, don't have TeamSpeak. I mean, it's one
You're
thing to hear. Like I don't care if your mic doesn't work. Perfect. But if you can hear us, you're in. But if you can't hear us, you have nothing. Sorry, it just can't work as a team.
Yep.
If your mic doesn't work, perfect. Don't talk during my raid. That's all I see you doing. Don't talk.
Well, in other games where I've done the large battle zones, basically, where you're not on TeamSpeak with people, it's pretty much a cluster. And what ends up happening is you're reading all this chat, and it's just trash. It's just so bad, the things that people will say, and they're so quick to call people out and cuss you out and call you anything that they could come up with. So, keeping it on a guild level and making allies with other guilds to pull together at times where we may not have 40 people for a war plot would be ideal. I think would be pretty amazing, and just flood everybody into TeamSpeak. Steel might want to bump it up again in the coming months.
Do you know how much that's costing us?
Oh my god! But no, I'm just kidding. But
But isn't that exactly where the mercenaries are going to come in with like the circles? So you'll have that circle of friends that love war plots, and so it's like, a few people are missing. Which, if you think about it, a few mercs, it's fine. Like I don't care if a few people can just go around kill things, or they can follow the group. I just don't want the majority of people being that way off TeamSpeak. But so if you had that, I would hate to see a group fail because they're only a few guys short. So it's good that they can get those mercs, but it would be nice to have the friends circle there. You can look, this person's online. I know they want to jump in. Let's bring them in. And so I think it'll work out with all their systems to really kind of make the war plots feasible for about any size guild. Do you know what I mean? I think it really will work out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be the nice thing about circles is you can have that select group of people you're looking for your PvP matches to set up in that. Then you don't have to worry actually about mercenaries. You'll just be pulling them yourself. So pulling it right into the war plot, war game right off the bat. So good plans. Now one nice thing I was also kind of getting into raid some. I mean, we're kind of hitting a little bit on every topic tonight.
Potpourri.
What's that?
It's a potpourri of topics.
Potpourri.
I love potpourri.
I used to be really allergic to potpourri.
It smells good.
But that gets me off topic.
Slightly
off topic. The one nice thing is that he was talking about, that they're trying to avoid min-maxing, which was always, what I hated in previous games where you had to run this build, you had to have this rotation, or else you didn't put out the max amount of DPS or whatever, and you were no longer welcome type deal. Yep. And he's basically saying that because of their system, you have to keep an eye on everything going on. You have to dodge. You have to get out of the crap. You have to break CCs, interrupt armor, interrupt this. That it's more about tactics than it is about the gear and how you spec yourself. So I'm very excited to read that is exactly what they're going for, because that puts the game back in the player's hands, in my opinion. So
it makes it skill based, not I read something on a forum and this is work for another 10,000 people, so it's going to work for me. Okay, it puts skill back into the game, which I feel is going to cause a lot of problems for some people because they've been working off builds and pre-created things and theory crafters and all this other stuff that people have drawn up that have been successful in other games. But now if it just does not even play a role, I think a lot of people are going to be kind of lost in the woods on this one.
Yeah, the cookie cutter thing. The cookie cutter thing is no fun. But my concern with that, and I know they said that it's more customizable at endgame, but the amps, don't you still feel that there's going to be specific amps that you're going to want for PvE versus PvP? I still think there's going to be some sort of, let's say, cookie cutter. I don't think it's going to be 100% cookie cutter, but I still think that people are going to take the same, say, amps and use the same, maybe, or very close to the skill set, which is probably going to change depending on the boss kind of thing. I think for people to say that nobody's going to min-max, nobody's going to pull out spreadsheets, nobody's going to run numbers.
They're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's fully customizable with add-ons too, which I'm afraid of, because I don't want WildStar to turn into, you've got to get the boss mods, you've got to have a meter, you've got to have this and you've got to have that. Like, I do not want that at all for WildStar. I want it all to be optional. I don't want this game to end up being another, playing to be a slave for your meter, or, making sure you have this add-on so when the boss is going to kick you in the face so you can get out of the way. Like, I don't want that at all for WildStar, so.
Yeah.
My thoughts.
No.
Whereas you said, there's certain amps that you're going to need for PvP that you won't need for PvE. I will completely agree with that. I run two completely different amp sets for my PvP side and my PvE side. So I also run two separate sets of gear. I will not wear my PvP gear in PvE because it won't be as effective. It's got separate stats on it that will actually greatly benefit my character in his effectiveness in PvP. Whereas if I went to PvE, something's going to step on me and I'm going to go squish.
Well, you're going to go squish anyway. Go ahead, sir.
But even when you have, say, like 2 healers or 2 tanks running the same amps, that's fine. I mean, I can understand why you choose those because they're the best for that character. Now, the difference is that even the DPS people, if they have the same amps and the same kind of specs, you might look at them and be like, wow, one did twice the amount of damage than the other one because one doesn't know how to dodge or one just isn't fast enough. So even if they do, like you said, to be a cookie cutter amp system, they're amps. They don't help you. They only give you a baseline to work with, but then the skill involved puts you over the top in the actual raid. Sure. And so I think that's what's going to make everything different, and then it won't just be cookie cutter because everyone has a different reaction time or different macros set up on their computer or just everything. Just the way they see the game and how their personal play style works with the game.
Right. In other words, even if your spec, say we're running the same class and the same role, and we have the same exact amp and spec, I may be standing in a corner, not moving, and getting owned every single time the boss does some spell, where you're continually moving out of the red and playing your character as it should be played. So really, spec is important, but in WildStar, you have to have skill, or you're going to be laying on the ground.
Specs, gear, all that junk takes a backseat to actual skill in the game.
Right.
Because it's no more standing still, guys. Plain and simple. No more standing still, and you have to pay attention. Pay very, very close attention.
Yeah, there's no more watching boss mods as your timer times down and, okay, I have to move in 3, 2, 1, now. Now you have to... crap!
Or how about the add-on? The add-on I have in another game, if I'm standing in anything, it just starts screaming at me. It goes beep, beep, beep. So I don't even have to look. I just move out of the way. I don't even know what I'm standing in, but it's screaming at me.
Beeping all the time.
No, please.
Right.
I don't want that in WildStar.
Constant ringing.
Right.
She just wants
to going black and it just says, "You are blinded. You are blinded." I'm like, I know. Yeah, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah,
but it's all right.
I definitely think though that you can't. I don't know. There's too many games I've played where it's like, oh, it's customizable. You can have the way you want to play. It's great, and then you get level cap, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, you have to do this, this, and this in this order, or you can't play and you can't get any further in the game. And I'm like,
exactly.
Oh,
it's no longer customizable.
Yeah, so I just wasted 50 levels of customizing it the way I like to play, having a blast, and then all of a sudden I have to learn basically a new character at end level. Like, this is kind of ridiculous, and I lose all interest, because who wants to relearn all the skills at level, end game?
No.
So I think this game is going to get you in the place you need to be for end game, so you're like, okay, I know how to roll, I know how to dash, I get the physics of it and the kind of how this game works, mechanics of it. Now I just have to get faster on my feet, so you just need practice, and to adjust to what exactly the individual raid boss is going to kind of throw your way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's all about. Just the more you get in there, the more you do it, the better you're going to be. I could totally see that better than just saying, oh, you're going to relearn an entire new spec, and it's an entirely different game.
My name's starting to creep up on Twitch.
Uh-oh.
David Robertson. Yeah, Nionya, I wanted to comment on your blaring siren, your staying in red stuff. WildStar, you won't have to worry about that because we'll be yelling at you. Get out of it, Nionya! Get out of it!
I know.
You'll still have it.
Yes, I'm the first
to admit. We can all
see
it now.
I am not that good at WildStar right now, and I know this is going to be something that I'm going to have to practice. I'm going to have to keep running. I'm going to have to do every adventure, every dungeon, because my brain is tuned to stand here, press 11112, 11112, 11112, or click my heal add-on to heal people, and just it's so much fun to be in a game where I have to move. I have to continually move. And I'll never forget running that first dungeon my first time with Rail. And I'm just learning the mechanics. I'm trying to understand what's going on. And he's moving trash mobs, so they're putting their telegraph right in my face just to see what I'll do. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's not a DPS race. It's a survival game. It's get out of the crap. And when you can hit the mob, hit the mob. It's not, I've got to stay on this mob, I can't move, I need max DPS, oh my gosh, I've got to get my rotation down. No. It's, you keep moving, and you hit that mob when you can hit it. You just stay alive. And I love that. It's great.
See, you say you're not good at it, but getting back to kind of what Soul said, you have 50 levels of training.
I know, and I can't wait.
And it's going to be the same at 50.
I haven't done a lot in beta, so I have a long way to go. I'm excited.
But that's like something like Waffle and I talk about a lot, and we're always like, if you can get in beta, which right now, if you haven't gotten to beta and you want to, you're not looking, because there's just so many beta keys for free right now, just being given out from every website. Get in beta, practice before the game launch because it is the learning curve is steep. And so you really have to try to figure out this kind of, I mean, you think you know MMOs, this is going to throw you a curveball. And like Waffle and I always talk about, like, yeah, we had to change our whole gaming system. We get a new mouse, a keyboard, Nostromo, whatever you need, because it just, the button systems and how do I attack while dodging, while rolling, and while trying to still face my creature, face the mob. And I think that's going to take people time to adjust to. And that's what makes it you're always moving. And you're always learning and evolving. And the game mechanics help that. Like, for me, as a medic, I love just running around because I can be using all my spells as I'm running circles around the mob. So if I'm standing still, I'm dead. And so you learn that early on, because even this game, you die early on. It's not a game you can just breeze through. But it's fun that they had the development of the game and the mechanics really work well together. And so it's a flawless experience when you're actually out there killing things or healing.
Well, I think we've beaten our topics to the ground like a dead horse.
Yay.
I do have one more thing. It's sad news, but David Bass, Scooter, also known as Scooter, he is leaving Carbine. Personal issues. Of course, he hasn't gone into details. It's personal, obviously. So, I enjoyed watching all the live casts and everything, sir. You're a lot of fun. You're really good at what you do, and I wish you well in everything that's going to come in the future. And maybe you'll come back and join us again. I really hope you do. You can even join Grievance. We'll welcome you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember Scooter unleashing these giant bosses in beta the one weekend in this one little town. I could not move. It was so laggy. This was way before they had optimized some of the beta, but he's a good guy. Sad to see him go, but hope everything works out for you.
Yes. Yeah, join Grievance. You can level at your own pace. Come on now.
Yes.
Family first.
Family first. That's very true. Loyal, honor, family, honor, loyalty, everything. I kind of like his parting speech though and everything. He ends it with from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air there, moving with your auntie and uncle to Bel-Air. I love that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up his letter, his departure letter. So we've come to another cast that we've gone through. Somehow we managed to extend this out again past 30 minutes. I don't know how we do it. We just seem to blab on and on.
We're so excited.
Oh my gosh! Beta tomorrow.
Yes,
everyone.
Last closed beta weekend. And on their calendar, they have open beta, question mark. So probably in a couple weeks, we'll see open beta for a week or two. And then we'll see launch May
30
31st.
days.
Yep.
30 days.
We're almost there. Of course, Dash, he's down in Walt Disneyland, I think it is.
World. He's in my town.
Oh, that's right. He's in Florida. So enjoy. Make sure you come over and see Nionya. She really wants to see you and give you hugs. Yeah. Hugs.
I'm supposed to bring his wife Minnie Mouse ears. That's what I'm doing. Little clay ears. So hopefully Friday or Saturday, Dash. You need to answer my tweet.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. And to everybody out there, have a good evening.
Night, guys.
Laters.